The reports of that $230 million payout to Trump come after the president agreed to, as we were discussing, a $20 or even $40 billion bailout of Argentina, as his buddy and Mar-a-Lago visitor, Argentinian President Javier Milei, is struggling to stay in power. If the Make Argentina Great Again with American Taxpayer Money campaign was not bad enough, Trump is adding to American suffering with his ad hoc tariffs. The Washington Post reports many farmers, like soybean farmer Bobby Couples, support President Donald Trump. Couples voted for him in the last 3 elections, but they have been crushed by the effects of his trade war with China. Now they're bewildered by Trump's rush to aid Argentina, a decision they see as antithetical to his campaign promises. Earlier this spring, Trump's tariffs on China prompted the country to halt purchases of U.S. soybeans. Then he offered a $20 billion bailout to Argentina, whose soybean crop sales to China have replaced those from U.S. farmers. And this week, Trump announced that the United States would buy beef from Argentina to bring down prices for U.S. consumers, opening a rift between him and another block of rural supporters, cattle ranchers, whose top industry group on Wednesday disavowed the president as some Republican officials scrambled to talk Trump out of the plan. Trump's commitment to helping Argentina and its embattled president, Javier Milei, a political ally, has appeared at odds with his America First policy platform, raising rare objections from some in his base. Joining us now is MSNBC correspondent David Noriega from Buenos Aires. David, you have been there in Argentina reporting all week. What are you hearing about Trump's moves in Argentina?
Yeah, Jacob, I came here mainly to try to understand what's behind and who benefits from this extremely unusual $20 billion lifeline to the Argentinian economy and the Argentinian president, because it really is extremely unusual. This $20 billion of U.S. taxpayer money straight from the U.S. Treasury to prop up a foreign currency. The last time something like this happened was back in the 90s when Mexico was facing a currency crash. At the time, there was a clear economic explanation for that move. The Mexican and American economies are closely intertwined. An economic crisis in Mexico would have immediate effects in the United States. That is not the case here. The Argentinian economy can tank, in fact has tanked many times with virtually no consequence for the U.S. So why, right? What explains this $20 billion, possibly $40 billion in additional funding? Everyone that I speak to here, Jacob, from big businessmen in the cattle industry to economists to regular Argentinian workers and retirees, if they like the bailout or if they don't like the bailout, they all seem to take for granted, they all seem to agree that the purpose of it, the function of it, is transparently political. So Javier Milei, the Argentinian president, he is a far-right populist, an eccentric TV personality, very Trumpish in many respects. There are close ties between Milei's circle and Trump's circle, and Milei is in some trouble. There are legislative elections here on Sunday, and his political survival depends on the result. His ability to get his economic agenda through the Congress depends on what happens on Sunday. Many analysts here expect him to take a beating. And significantly, over the last few weeks, the Argentinian peso was declining, was in steep decline up until that intervention from the U.S. Treasury. So, Jacob, you know, when you talk to people here, it's pretty clear to them that this is not going to have any clear benefit for the American people. And as you pointed out, in fact, some of Trump's moves in Argentina harm some Americans who supported him, like cattle ranchers and farmers. I was wondering, though, if maybe there could be some kind of beneficial effect for the Argentinian people, at least. And there is some geopolitical argument to be made. Some Argentinians here make it that the U.S. is countering Chinese influence in Argentina and American influence is better for Argentinians than Chinese influence. It's all somewhat abstract. And when I asked, you know, I had a conversation with one specific person that stuck with me. She owns a small business, a small restaurant. I met her at a market where she was buying wholesale to supply her restaurant. And I asked her, do you think that people like you here in Argentina will see the benefits of this $20 billion? And she was very clear in her answer. She said, absolutely not. The people who will benefit are wealthy investors around the world, including in the United States. What this will do, in her words, is help people who already have money use that money to make more money. Jacob.
David, it is very clear that at least some American cattle ranchers feel they are being royally screwed by what Donald Trump is doing. And it's clear that maybe folks in Argentina have a different perspective, but what could Donald Trump's policies do to these global beef markets? I mean, once a buyer's got a new supplier, why would they even come back to American suppliers at all?
Right. Well, look, first of all, the people involved in the Argentinian beef industry that I've been speaking to, which is everyone from ranchers and breeders to the middlemen to the consumers, for the most part, they're very excited about this. They're actually a little bit bemused by it, the ones that I speak to. They really didn't expect this kind of, they see it as a very generous intervention from the world's greatest power, which has promised to quadruple imports into the U.S. of Argentinian beef. They're thrilled. Unlike the American ranchers, who are quite angry about it, the Argentinian ranchers and beef producers say that this is a tremendous opportunity for them. It's going to be great for business. They've always aspired to a greater share of the American market, and this presents them an opportunity to do so. And the Argentinian export, the commodity export sectors here in Argentina are benefiting in a number of ways from Trump's policies, as you mentioned. Retaliatory tariffs by China against the United States are affecting American farmers. Argentinian farmers of soybeans and other crops are benefiting from that, are able to take over that share of the exports to China that American farmers are losing. There was a moment, in fact, right when Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was promising to extend this $20 billion lifeline to Argentina, that Milei, the president, close ally to Donald Trump, suspended export taxes from Argentina to China, allowing Argentinian soybean farmers to dramatically increase their exports to China. So he was essentially sort of accepting lifelines from both sides, right, from the United States and from China at the same time. What's very clear here on the ground, everyone that I speak to who is in favor of Milei and in favor of these bailouts and in favor of these policies, they're, again, Jacob, actually quite surprised by what they perceive as this sudden generosity on the part of the American president.
David Noriega, it is so good to have you on the ground at Argentina at a moment like this, the Make Argentina Great Again with American Taxpayer Dollars campaign. David Noriega, thank you so much.